G'day, welcome to the Neptune Theatre. I'm David Kilderry and today we're going to look at how to buy a Super 8 movie projector. Firstly, a little background on the Super 8 film format. It was introduced by Kodak back in 1965 and it was designed to replace a number of other home movie formats that were much more cumbersome to use for the average family. There was 9.5mm, standard or regular 8mm and also 16mm. But the Super 8 format was much easier to use. It was easier to load into a camera, and with the new designed projectors that became available, it was easier to thread with auto threading. It also gave the advantage of a 50% greater image or frame area compared to the regular 8mm that had been used up until that time. The film format survives today. It's certainly past its great heyday, but it's great fun to use. So let's go and have a look in the projection room a little bit closer at the Super 8 film format. Here you can see two pieces of 8mm film. The one on the left is the standard or regular 8mm. The one on the right is the new Super 8mm format. Notice the size of the sprocket holes on the standard 8mm are much larger than for the Super 8mm, and also the image area is much larger on the Super 8 compared to the standard 8. These brought a number of advantages to the 8mm film format, but they required brand new cameras and projectors to be used in able to project and shoot the new Super 8mm film. Before too long, many other companies were involved in making Super 8 equipment as well, and we'll look at some of those other companies soon. But with the ease of Super 8 and then later with the introduction of Super 8 sound, we got a lot of packaged movies. There are digests cut down from full-length features, and there was also available cartoons, sports films, travel logs. Many different types of films all became available in the Super 8 format, and we'll look at these in a future episode. This is how you purchased your Super 8 film. Generally it was Kodak, but you could also purchase other brands. And this is the small reel of 50 feet of exposed Super 8 film that you received back from the processing lab. We'll look at everything to do with Super 8 cameras and shooting film in another episode, but let's get on to looking at the actual projector. Okay, so here we are in the projection room, and if you're looking for a Super 8 projector, ideally this is what you want to find. This is a projector still in its original box. We've got the instruction booklet. We've got some of the original warranty information. Fantastic to have all this paperwork. We've got the power cord, very important. And of course, a spare or take-up reel, which you will also need. But you can of course buy separately if you need to. We've got a number of other accessories piled on the top. But what we really want to have a look at is the projector itself. This is a Senkyo Sound 501 projector, and they were produced in the late 70s and early 80s by Senkyo. They were a reasonable quality projector. They were not at the bottom, but they were a mid-price projector, so they have mid-price functions. And in a moment we're going to look at some of the specific features that this projector offered. Okay, let's have a look at our Senkyo projector. Let's lift up the spindle arms, or the reel arms. All projectors need a blank take-up reel on the rear, and all projectors need a power cord connected as well. Let's look at the features of this projector. It's a sound projector, meaning that it can reproduce magnetic sound. Most of the early Super 8 projectors were silent, but they could also run dual gauge. That means they could run your regular or standard 8mm movies and also the new Super 8 format. That was very handy, as many of the people that purchased Super 8 equipment had also been using standard 8mm, so they could run their films on the same projector. As I mentioned, this is a sound projector, but every projector will have a light source. So there's the projection lamp. We have the lens at the front of the projector, the focus control, and the auto threading. We've got various controls. There's the stop position, forward with picture, and forward with sound. it can run at both 24 and 18 frames per second. We've got volume and tone controls. We've also got a recording mechanism, a very handy feature that enables film to have sound recorded on it, not only in the camera, but you could also add commentary to the magnetic soundtracks later on. We've got a number of input and output jacks, and of course around the back of the projector we have where the power lead is attached and the speaker grill. In behind there is the speaker that reproduces the sound. Now, the Sankyo sound projectors were quite a good range of projector. The Sound 501 was down near the lower end of their range, but given they were a mid-priced projector, it had everything that a young Super 8 film enthusiast could use. In fact, I was delighted to receive this very projector on Christmas morning back in 1979. I used it so much that I actually wore out the focus mechanism. Let's just have a look back in here again. You can see the focus control, how it pulls the lens in and out. Well, I ran my films in the same part of the house time and time again, so the lens was always set at the same focus point, and constant adjustment of this enabled it to wear through the plastic gears. So the focusing became not as steady as it should have been on most other higher level projectors. It was great fun, I got a lot of use out of it, and I've still got it with me today. Here's another projector. This is the Elmo Sound ST1200 HD. Now, this is a much higher quality projector than the Sankyo that we were just looking at. So let's go through why these projectors cost a lot more initially and why they bring bigger dollars today. First of all, the lamp. In here we have a 150 watt lamp, whereas the Sankyo only had a 100 watt lamp. Those 50 extra watts will enable you to project a much larger picture. Very important if you want to get some impact with a large screen. The lens is another area of important difference. Generally, the more expensive the projector, the better the lens. The Elmos came with a better quality zoom lens than the Sankyo. Not only was it sharper, it generally had a greater range of zoom, so you could adjust the picture size to a larger or smaller image. The Elmos and other high dollar projectors had much larger take-up reels, so they could take up to 800 or even 1200 foot reels, whereas the Sankyo and other similar projectors are stuck with 400 or 600 foot reels. Very important if you want to run longer films on your projector without interruption. The sound. Many of the lower quality projectors have only 2 or 3 watt sound. Some of the larger projectors have power up to 10 or even 15 watts in their amplifier. That will give you a much greater quality of sound. It'll also enable you to plug in an extension speaker and fill a large room with sound, whereas some of the smaller projectors just simply can't do that. There's a lot more metal used in the construction on the Elmo projectors, particularly this model. Very robust, and in fact the only things you'll have problem with in an Elmo projector today, if they've had lots of use, is some worn threading plastic parts. Other than that, it's just a drive belt or a replacement lamp. High quality, manufactured for many years, many different models, and still used by professionals today. Here we are with another projector. This is the Elmo GS1200 stereo projector. Known as the Rolls-Royce of Super 8 projectors, there are similar brands that have the features that this projector has, but probably the most common of the high-end projectors is actually this one. It has a brighter again lamp at 200 watts versus the 150 watt or the 100 watt. Some Super 8 projectors only have 50 watt lamps. If you want big picture, you need a big lamp. Great quality lenses on these Elmos. Great zoom, great clarity, and in fact you can also buy accessory lenses of even higher quality. You can see the stereo sound controls here, both on the side and the rear of the projector. Plenty of options to mix and add your own sound to existing sound films. They use a unique push-button control system, unlike the rotary knob on a lot of the projectors. Once again, there's good steel used in the construction along with plastic. They're very robust, easy to use. They can be complex when they break down, but thankfully they're known as a reliable projector. Now, when you buy a Super 8 projector, you need to know that it's working correctly. There are a number of things to check for, and if you can't be at the projector yourself, you can simply ask the person selling it if they can do these basic checks. First of all, plug it in with the power cord, and let's see what actually works. Let's go to the forward position, and you can see our take-up reel is working. Very important, that means that you've got a good belt for the take-up. Likewise, let's switch it to the rewind position, and you can also see that the belt is good in the feed or rewind position. Something else you need to check is obvious, it's the lamp. Switch the lamp on, and if you can see the lamp come on nice and brightly like that, it means it's okay. Don't be too alarmed if the reels don't work or the lamp doesn't operate. It can still mean the projector is good. You can get replacement belts, and of course you can get replacement lamps. A further thing to check is, does the auto threading mechanism work? Most brands of projector will have something similar where you simply push down and the auto threading mechanism is locked into place, ready for you to thread your film. Next step is to actually run some film. We've got a cartoon ready to be threaded up here. Here is the leader, the front piece of the film, and you can see at the front of the projector there's a film trimmer. These little film trimmers cut the very edge of the film to the right shape so it would be fed correctly into the feed mechanism. So let's just poke the film in here. You can see that it's auto threading. The film will go through the mechanism and come out near the take-up reel. They don't always take up on the take-up reel, but mostly they do. Projector's now running, and we need one more thing. Let's switch on the sound and get ready for the show. Okay, let's have a quick look online and see what projectors are out there. Here's a nice Shinnon projector. They're a good mid-range brand, good features, solid construction, and you'll find a lot of them out there. Next we have a Bell & Howell. This is a late 1960s model projector and quite basic. Bell & Howell projectors were made really well, so they're likely to last a long time, but they don't have a lot of features. One thing in their advantage is they always had good quality lenses. Here's a Titan Trimatic. This is pretty typical of a low-end projector that was sold in department stores all around the world. They were quite robust but quite simple. Not many features, but you'll find plenty of them out there, often under different brand names, but they all look the same and manufactured by the same factory in Japan. Here's a Ricoh projector. Good mid-range quality. You might know them from their other photographic equipment. And here's a Umig projector. Again, a good quality projector, middle of the range, but with good features and metal construction. If you're looking for parts, you'll find many places online, including Chambliss Cine projection parts. You'll find lamps. There's also replacement belts, spare reels. Just do a search online and see what you come up with. There's even some websites that specialise in replacement rubber drive belts for projectors. Here's a Bansky film. Many products, including spare reels, all available. Remember, when you're looking at a projector, make sure the projector works. If the seller's unwilling to test it, you might want to grab another projector, unless of course it's at a bargain price. Some people pay over $500 for quality used Super 8 projectors. You might want to take a punt and try a projector for $40 or $50. You never know, it might just work. But keep in mind that projector repair technicians are hard to find in 2019. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick look online at what's available. Just do a search for what you want. You'll also find a lot of extra information if you search how to buy a Super 8 movie projector. it'll take you to my website and you can read more detail about what we've discussed today. Okay, the projector's now running and we've had a great look at how to buy a Super 8 movie projector. Plenty of information online. Have a look on YouTube, search the web, you'll find some great information in addition to what you've seen here today. While the projector's running, time to turn up the sound. Let's go into the theatre and have a watch.